Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League got all the headlines for costing Warner Brothers Games $200 million plus last year. But something else, okay, that ended up contributing to that overall disastrous year that they had, leading to the CEO saying deuces and getting the hell out of town, was this Multiversus Super Smash Brothers clone, and the fact that it was just, man, I seen a little bit of gameplay of this, okay? I watched Maximilian Dude played a little bit of it when it first launched, and it was just like it was slow and boring, and the characters, like the drip feed of character releases, like they were trying to do a live service kind of a free to play approach to this, and well, it didn't look like it had that much staying power. Like people were enjoying it for the first couple of days it was out, but it was a precipitous drop off, and after like the first week, like nobody was playing this stuff, and the content that you were getting in the aftermath was just really awful. And them coming out now and saying, yeah, we're going to be shutting it down, and you can still play it offline, we're not going to be supporting it, and that's whatever. Which back in the cut, like the gaming industry, they used to just release a game and they'd keep the online services, or they'd keep the online servers open, like if this was during the Xbox 360 PS3 days and moving forward into that, but they wouldn't constantly be working and building on projects. There used to be a point in time when developers made a game and released it because it was complete, not because they wanted to continue to just milk the audience with these live service fiascos that, outside of a couple of hits, just continue to cost companies millions and millions and millions of dollars. Part of the reason that the industry is in the shape that it's in is these predatory business practices, and I would say that contributes a not insignificant portion as to why a lot of people are just checking out of new games. But it's also one of those aspects that's very easily rectifiable. And if there's enough bombs like this, like I think Warner Brothers, okay, they're definitely going to be treading lightly moving forward, because this is their second huge L in the fighting game space, alongside the abomination that was Mortal Kombat 1, which, oh my god, at least this year, okay, like I'm not really looking forward to it in so much as I think it could be good, mostly because Carl Urban never delivers a bad performance. But the second Mortal Kombat movie could end up being good and could show that there is life in the Mortal Kombat IP. It's just one was so bad. It was so bad. Like using boomer IPs as guest characters instead of just taking new Mortal Kombat characters, because Devora's pretty cool. She came in 10. Aratora was just being used as a stupid cameo. Like that whole cameo system was fucking dumb anyways. God damn it. And like that still pisses me off, because I really like fighting games. I'm not exactly that great at them, but I got pretty good at MK9, and it's just been downhill from there. But anyways, Multiversus had a good chance. We're talking about that, right? Multiversus had a chance of being something good, because when it comes to leveraging a studio that has as many IPs as Warner Brothers does, it's like, for as bad of a business, or rather, at bad at business as Warner Brothers is, like they're sitting on a gold mine of intellectual properties, right? Like they have DC, they have Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings movie adaptation rights, and the TV is over at Amazon, and this is like, kind of a race to the bottom with both of them as to what they've been doing recently. But hey, you could at least leverage, like, imagine having a proper, like Aragorn, Jon Snow square off, but no, instead the only one that I seen, getting leveraged from Game of Thrones was Arya Strong. Fantastic stuff. Good choice there. Morons. But yeah, Looney Tunes, like Jason from Friday the 13th. Like there's so much stuff that Warner Brothers has, like Harry Potter games, okay? And you have this big crossover event. It's something from entertainment that is reasonably analogous to what Nintendo could do with Super Smash Brothers. And of course, guest characters over time is what's, really catapulted Smash Bros into the stratosphere. But there's no reason that Multiversus couldn't have done that with even bigger names in all of entertainment. But no, they're shutting down in May with no refund policy announced. Game director claims players have been making threats since announcement. Oh, so what you're trying to appeal to sympathy now? Like, just stop it. Warner Brothers Multiversus is officially shutting down this May, adding another massive financial loss to the company's already troubled gaming division. The game's unexpected closure have left many players feeling betrayed, especially those who spent money on premium content. Yeah, exactly. How's that going to work, even if it is just simply off, or if you're still going to be able to play it offline? That's why you got to be careful whenever you buy something digital. You have to realize that it's not yours. unless it's specifically and explicitly said that it is yours, because at the end of the day, you're just buying data, bro. However, the backlash has escalated beyond frustration, with the game's director and development team now reportedly facing threats of physical harm. Yeah, proof for GTFO. Last week, Player First Games confirmed that Multiversus Season 5, isn't that the same amount of seasons that Kill the Justice League got? Would be the game's last, with servers shutting down on May 30th. Despite the game's failure to maintain its early momentum, players were shocked by the abrupt shutdown, particularly some real money transactions had been available until recently. While the game will remain playable offline in local and training modes, online functionality will be completely... so they're shutting down the servers and shit. Holy. To make matters worse, no refund policy has been announced, leaving fans who purchased the $100 founder pack feeling deceived. Yeah, depends on how long you were supposed to be getting value out of that purchase. I mean, yeah, okay. Many players still have unused character tokens, now rendered useless as they have already unlocked every fighter. Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, man. This frustration has led to a swell of negative reviews on Steam, which IGN called a review bombing. Well, I mean, you make moves that immediately backtrack on your monetization process, and you just end up leaving a few people, holding the bag. Is that review bombing, or is that just accurately stated? Well, and especially on Steam, it's like, okay, cool. You're being promoted to right now that there's this big, online crossover world, but that's just not going to be the case in a couple months' time. So leaving a negative review on that, justified. Yes, with Multiversus rating tanking in response to the news. Tony Hyun, co-founder of Player First Games and director of Multiversus, broke his silence after days of mounting player outrage. In a statement, he expressed sadness over the game's fate, but also gratitude for the opportunity to develop it. Okay, so far so good. Shit sucks. Warner Brothers killed another game with, predatory monetization structure, because here's the thing about Multiversus, like, it just... Obviously, it's another free-to-play scam and shit like that, but it didn't look woke. It didn't look all that bad. Like, it could have carved out a niche. There was definitely a position in the market for it. It just didn't end up hitting, which is kind of wild. However, he also addressed an unsettling development, threats of violence against himself and his team. I know that this is painful for everyone, and I know every member of Player First Games feels it too, Hyun wrote, but I have to call this out. You're entitled to what you say and think, but when there are threats of harm, it's crossing a line. Yeah, no, fair enough. Everybody agrees with you on that one. It's just gonna have to pause receipts. Okay, the studio's community manager, Angelo Rodriguez Jr., also defended Hyun, revealing that the director had been personally involved in engaging with fans and shaping the game based on community feedback. Yeah, so it really doesn't sound like any blame needs to lay with the studio, because they were doing the best they can. It's just they ended up getting saddled with a trash publisher. That's Warner Brothers Games in a nutshell. I've legitimately been losing sleep over the past few days watching all of this happen to Tony. Receiving threats of physical harm against him is not and will never be the way. Hey, yeah, we know. The shutdown of Multiversus is just the latest in a series of high-profile failures for Warner Brothers Games. The company reportedly lost $100 million on Multiversus alone, compounding the staggering $200 million loss from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Later's disastrous launch forced WB Games to rethink its strategy, with CEO David Zaslav admitting that the division is substantially underperforming, which is hilarious because back in 2023, it had out and out the best-selling game of the year in Hogwarts Legacy, and then you follow it up with losing your ass. I mean, come on, man. Now Warner Brothers is doubling down on a handful of major franchises, including Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, there's a spin-off in the works. Mortal Kombat, which, yeah, there's a movie, but you've also got a dead game on your hands that you haven't publicly announced, but everybody already knows. It's like, haven't really announced any further plans for DLC. They have reportedly been canceled moving forward. In Game of Thrones, there is a interesting game that's out there, okay, and I'm still looking forward to House of the Dragon Season 3, and in very short order, like we should be in very, very soon, be getting a firm announcement as to when the Dunk and Egg series is coming around. 6 episodes. Like, bro, come on. We already understand that the author of your source material is fucking lazy, but 6 episodes? Is that what we're doing with TV series now? Anyways, and DC properties, particularly Batman. Despite this, recent layoffs and the abrupt end of the Suicide Squad's post-launch content suggests the company is still struggling to regain its footing. That, and I didn't know that until this, that Warner Brothers shuts down Multiversus after taking a $100 million impairment charge? I beg your pardon. In a blog post on the game's website, Warner Brothers Games announced announced, after careful consideration, our next season will serve as our final seasons of content. Update from the game. Multiversus Season 5 will begin on February 4th, 2025 and run through the 30th of May, adding 2 new playable characters to the roster, DC's Aquaman and Lola Bunny. Great, you might reinvigorate the furry audience there. Online features will be shut down at the end of Season 5. All online features will continue to be available until Season 5 concludes, May 30th at 9 a.m. PST. As of that point, there will no longer be an option to play Multiversus offline. Oh, I'm sorry, there will be an option, yes, to play offline, and a local gameplay mode, either solo against AI opponents or with up to 3 friends. To do this, you'll need to install, download the latest version of the game and log in during Season 5 anytime between, blah, 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 all that crap. The game being shut down after Season 5, Warner Brothers Games also shared that it has ended paid transactions within the game beginning today. Oh, shit, so they're really taking this stuff seriously, huh? The developer stated as of today, January 31st, real money transactions will no longer be available for Multiversus, which means you can no longer purchase a Gleamium, okay? But you can still use your remaining Gleamium on or character tokens to access in-game content until Season 5 ends. The game will also not be available to download after Season 5 concludes in May. So, oh shit, this is going to become lost media here real quick. That's crazy. Shutdown announcement is not unsurprising. Warner Brothers' parent company revealed that it had taken a $100 million impairment charge. Out of that was primarily focused for Multiversus. CFO Gunnar Weidenfels said during the company's third quarter 2024 webcast, results were impacted by gamers, for which we took another $100 million plus impairment due to the underperforming releases, primarily Multiversus this quarter, bringing total write-down year-to-date to over $300 million in our games business, a key factor in this year's studio profit decline, which, holy shit, bro, $300 million in 1 year. Imagine that. Like I said before, Hogwarts Legacy, the best-selling game of 2023, full stop, okay? You follow that outrageous success up with this, with 2, 3, I would say, high-profile disasters. I don't even think that they released something that people genuinely like this year, which is just wild to think about. And hell, looking forward to this year, it's going to be interesting because you're going to get the fourth quarter and then, of course, the 2024 numbers in full, probably at the end of March, right towards the end of March. So we're probably still a month away from a bunch of different uncomfortable shareholders calls from a bunch of different studios, and that's going to be very interesting to follow as well. Be looking at you, EA, Ubisoft, and of course Warner Brothers Games here. So we won't know the full extent of all of those companies' failures, but we can already read between the lines where we're looking at somewhere between $300 and $400 million in losses for Warner Brothers. Several games shut down, several IPs ruined beyond recognition, and just another body on the pile and another piece of kindling to light the biggest fire the games industry has ever seen, to prove that the Western AAA industry is burning, and that if things don't change in the near future, a collapse a la 1983 is very much upon us. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.